Hello mechanics, in this video we will replace the brake pads on a 2016 Volkswagen Passat B8. This time we are going to use VCDS for the back brakes, but if you don't have a diagnostic tool you can use the manual methods shown in the episode that I link below. Usually it is very easy to check the brake pads. In most of the situations it can be done visually from outside. You can see if the brake pads have enough thickness or not. Ideally, any brake pad that has a thickness of less than 2 mm is considered to be in its last stages of life. Brake pads are the reason your car is able to stop. When you press the brake pedal, the brake pads apply friction against the metal disc or drum that hauls the vehicle. Because of this friction, brake pads wear down over time. However, the amount of time it takes the brake pads to wear is dependent on how you drive. Someone who drives frequently through high traffic areas might find that their brake pads wear down faster than someone who drives less frequently and/or in more rural areas. There are other warning signs that indicate your brake pads may need attention. Some of these include a screeching sound when brakes are applied, any audible grinding or squealing, a longer stopping distance, pulsations through the brake pedal, or a lower brake pedal that sits closer to the floor. Don't go anywhere guys, meet you back in the shop right after our short intro. Okay guys, the tools you'll be needing for this operation are a file, a flathead screwdriver, a metal wire brush and a small hammer to remove rust from the rotor and the caliper components, a 13mm wrench and a 17mm wrench to remove the front caliper bolts, a piston press or two large box end wrenches to retract the caliper. You can check the second method in the video from the description. Some wax-based grease for the slide pins and some brake cleaner. For the rear brake calipers, you will need a 7mm cornered hex bit or a straight 7mm hex bit with a flex head ratchet wrench to move faster. And the new front and rear brake pads. First loosen up the lug nuts. Raise the car. Remove the lug nuts. Remove the wheel and place it under the car as a secondary safety measure. Now will be a great time to check if you received the right brake pads and the wear sensor. Unlike previous models, the B8 has the wear sensor placed on the right side. Disconnect the old wear sensor. Remove the locking bolts using the 13mm wrench while counter-holding with the 17mm wrench. This is where the two locking bolts are located. If the caliper is very rigid, pull it firmly towards you so that the piston retracts just enough for the caliper to slide off the rotor. Because our brake pads were extremely worn, a simple wiggle did the trick. Make sure you suspend the caliper so you don't damage the brake lines. Use a flathead screwdriver to remove the old brake pads. As you can see, the wear sensor is connected to the inner brake pad. Use a hammer to gently remove the big rust deposits from the rotor. Place the car in neutral and thread two lug nuts in order to spin the rotor. Use the file, the metal wire brush and the small flathead screwdriver to remove most of the remaining rust deposits. It is crucial that you do this so the brake pads can slide freely on the rails. Remove the slide pins and apply wax-based grease. Apply a thin layer of grease to the caliper rails and to the brake mounting clips. Insert the brake pads in any desired order. Insert the wear sensor into the opening of the inner brake pad. Insert the inner brake pad. Before retracting the piston, make sure there is enough space for the brake fluid in the brake fluid container. You don't want the fluid to overflow as it is extremely corrosive. Now you can safely retract the piston using the piston press or using two large box sand wrenches as illustrated in the video I linked in the description section. Place the caliper back onto the mounting bracket and thread in the new locking bolts. Tighten the locking bolts using the 13 and the 17mm wrenches. Torque the locking bolts up to 35 Nm as recommended by the manufacturer. You can now place the wheel back on. Make sure you apply some grease with those lug nuts before threading them back in. Let's now move on to the rear brakes. Remove the wheel and place it under the car. Set up your diagnostic tool. Press select. Go to the ABS brakes menu, then select basic settings, and then start lining change mode. After you press go, you should hear this sound. Remove the plastic caps protecting the guide pins. Use the 7mm hex bit and a bar or a wrench to loosen up the guide pins. If they are stuck, use some WD-40. Retract the guide pins and remove the retaining spring. Pull the brake caliper towards you to compress the piston and then wiggle it to slide off. Use the press to fully retract the piston. Remove any rust deposits. These are the new rear brake pads. This is how a pair of rear brake pads looks like. The one with the metal wire is the inner brake pad. Put the outer brake pad in place and attach the caliper. Make sure you grease the guide pins before threading them back in. The tightening torque for the guide pins is also 35 Nm. Insert a bit of grease into the openings for the retaining spring and then force it back in. Attach the wheel and don't forget to grease the lug nuts before threading them back in. Go to the same menu, select end lining change mode, and the electric motor will self-calibrate. If you want to try the manual method, just check the video I've linked below. Great job, guys! Thank you very much for watching. Use the comments section for any questions or suggestions, and if you find our videos interesting, make sure you subscribe for the latest wannabe mechanic videos. Bye bye!